Yo, what's up, guys? Walter here. We do this every single day. Check it out. So here, we have Finger right below us in the chat room. It says, hey, Walt, how do you solo? And, okay, real quick, the way that you solo on guitar... Okay, so that the way that you solo on guitar is actually really simple. You know, or really difficult, right? Depending on how you want to go about and doing it. So one thing is that you have to look at, you know, let's say B.B. King, right? Where he would solo and he would get more out of one note than some people would get out of playing 1,000 notes. So in your solo, don't really worry too much about the technical aspects of it. Worry about the notes that you're playing and really make them breathe, right? Make them, you know, really sing. So I feel like that people do that a lot when they talk. That people, I talk real fast, but that people tend to say in 50 words what really only should take them 3 or 4. So you want that to be in your solo, right? So that's always one thing to consider. Also, in addition to that, you got to think about the technical aspect of it. That if I'm playing a solo, let me get these new picks right here. Boom. Okay, and these new Ernie Ball picks. And let me, you know, just play, you know, like that. If I were to do something like this. Okay, so that's like just a really simple, little, nothing crazy guitar piece, right? So you got to think is that do you want to do that or well, you know, going along that, right? Yeah, like the blues stuff. But going along that same thing is that if I'm playing, I got to think about the technical aspect of it, right? Is that if I can't slide or if I can't hammer on or pull off, okay, or you know, whatever it is, then you should maybe work on those technical aspects, because it's just like speaking. Is that if I don't have the knowledge of certain words, then I obviously can't use them in my sentences, okay? But that doesn't disregard the fact that I can't say something strong and powerful. So you know, when I'm trying to learn, you know, on how to do a solo, the thing is that you're really creating music, right, on, you know, on the spot. So the way that you go about how to do a solo is you learn the technical aspects, okay? You work on your legato. Okay? You work on your alternate picking. See my hand? Okay? You know, and then you work on all these different things, and then that gives you more kind of tools in your arsenal to add into your music, okay? And then the third thing is to really listen. Listen to other people, listen to what you're doing, and you know, listen to how you practice. All of these things affect your performance in your solos. So what I would do in trying to learn how to solo is work on my ear training, so that when I'm playing guitar, if I hear an A7 chord, know that that's an A7 chord, and also know technically and you know, theoretically, where's that chord going to go to this note. The A7 leads to a D. Okay, so although that wasn't a guitar solo, it was just something that I kind of just made up on the spot, right? So even if it were a solo, I'm doing the same techniques. Is that my technique of alternate picking, of the chords, of like my theory of where the chords go, where they're leading to, all that's the same when I'm soloing. Okay, so that's just something to think about. I do see that one of the students here wrote, well, what's the idea of phrasing? And well, not what's the idea of phrasing, but some techniques when I'm phrasing is, wow, this thing's like right up on me. Yo, what's up, everybody? Sorry. Okay, so that the idea of nice. So that the idea of ooh, sorry. So wow, that was a weird face. Okay, so anyway, the idea of phrasing in a piece of music is that it's taking the chord structures and the harmony that you have and phrasing things around that, and then in addition to that, creating like licks, right? So sometimes they refer to as like chord licks, riffs. What else do they call fills, like they call them fills a lot. So phrasing isn't really going crazy. You're just kind of creating like a melody within a solo, and that's always something. Yo, what's up, dude? Dennis, man, what's going on? And so that's something to consider also when you're trying to work on a solo. But at the end of the day, just have fun with it. Sometimes Sometimes your solo might be this, right? Why not? Sometimes your solo might be this. Sometimes your solo might be this. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that whatever the notes you play, whether it's a lot of notes, whether it's a little bit of notes, whether they're fast notes, whether they're slow notes, whether they're loud or they're soft, or they're high or they're low, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you do one thing, is that you get your message across. Okay? So going back to what I said in the beginning, B.B. King got his message across in a very simplistic way, and he made it speak. And that's what you got to do. Speak in your life, speak in your music. And that, my friends, is your daily music lesson. Oh, wait, we got a question. So he waits for the very end. He waits for the ending. He waits for the outro. I love it. Okay, so it depends on the notes you play. Yes, it does depend on the notes you play, but you also have to think about the key signature, right? So if I'm in the key of A, sometimes a C natural might work, right? Sometimes it might not work, but you have to think about that theoretically. Is that what you want? Because playing the C natural in the key of A hints at an A minor chord instead of an A major chord. And that's just one example. So of course it depends on the notes you play, because the notes that you play are relative to the key signature that you're playing in and what the other musicians are playing in. So yeah. And there's also the idea of having target notes. That's what I explained in my other tutorial. Is that having target notes, if you're in the key of A and you're playing an A chord, okay? Let's say you're going. Okay? So when I go to that E chord, right there, then I got to think of the idea of using target notes. And what target notes are is that if I'm soloing, okay, maybe something real simple. Sorry. Okay, so if I'm soloing right there, then when I go to change that E chord, maybe I can do something crazy, but just realize that on the downbeat of 1 on the next measure is the E chord. So I can play whatever notes I want to, but on that downbeat of 1 on the next measure, I better play an E. Okay? So sometimes it's common to just have target notes in music. So I can be soloing some crazy riff, and then I know, if I'm going nuts, I know that when I'm up top here, just play that note on the E. Da, so that when I play this chord, da, it all kind of works. Okay? So that's one thing. You're kind of like piecing together. It's almost like connecting the dots. Point A, on beat 1 you play A. Point B, you play your E chord. But then between there you play as many notes as you want. Or maybe no notes. Remember, silence is golden. Let's just be quiet for 5 seconds. That was awesome.